Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. Sometimes I record a video and people are like, what does it say on your shirt? And so I'm a tennis player, which I guess is hard to believe if you've only seen somebody on YouTube. But it says, always causing a racket. Oh, yeah. You better believe I still have puns on my t-shirt, y'all. So here's the deal. I know people that support this channel, people who've supported the game for a long time, who are prepared and quite content to spend thousands of dollars less this year than on previous years of the gifting event. Not because of inflation, not because of the economic crisis that is going on right now in several countries and households. No, it's simply because they are not motivated to spend the kind of money they're used to spending because the gifting event is such a downer. And I still say this, as long as progression crystals are not a thing, and the gifting event is the only event all year where Conqueror players open the same crystals as Paragon and Valiant players. And while that made sense 5 or 6 years ago, or even 2 or 3 years ago, I don't think it makes a lot of sense now. Because 300 units for a greater banquet crystal can easily be worse than what is now effectively a daily Valiant crystal for me. And I know that a incredibly small percentage of summoners are Valiant right now, but that doesn't mean it's still not a relevant issue. If I can get something for free that's better than something that's over $10 worth of units, then what's my motivation for going after that thing? Now, of course, there are two counter arguments to that. One, the solo event objectives, and two, the alliance event objectives. Because maybe I am going to get tier 5 basic and tier 2 alpha and 6-star shards, all of which are worse technically than everything I can get in the daily Valiant crystal. And even if I get tier 6 basic Catalyst fragments or tier 3 alpha, I have opened fully formed tier 6 basic Catalyst before. I have opened fully formed tier 3 alpha Catalyst before from these daily crystals. So I would just be getting the same thing plus some gold and some ISO that I already get twice a day for free for a chance to get the same thing. So I do think we have enough progression levels, way more than 5 or 6 years ago when it started, that even if you have two different crystals, and I do think that maybe the middle ground to this is to give like Conqueror and Uncollected players a discount. Like their crystals, they're going to be between like the regular banquet crystals and the greater banquet crystals, but they'll be like 200 units instead of 300 units. And it motivates players. Kabam is all about motivating players to want to push progression. That makes perfect sense, and that sense makes them dollars, literally. If you knew that the cutoff was, say, even Thronebreaker for the best crystal, and you had a month or 2 months heads up, especially if you gave them the heads up before the Cyber Week sales, then you would motivate people to spend more and to push their accounts more, and that's the whole purpose of making a profit. This entire gifting event needs to be rethought because there are just too many progression levels now that even like there are so many Paragon players who have incredible rosters and are halfway to becoming Valiant. Let's say that they completed Necropolis but couldn't afford any of the most expensive Cyber Week deals. Totally get that. They're different than players who just became Paragon, who barely have rank 3 6 stars. Also have a chainsaw going on in the background, and it sounds like a mixture between a chainsaw and a bee buzzing. So that's fascinating. I just feel that the gifting event needs a complete rethink and overhaul. You can't have a community and essentially a condition anymore where you expect Paragon and Valiant players to spend the same amount of money that they would with Conqueror players with the same, essentially, crystals. It's a bad, outdated model that just hurts Kabam's bottom line, and the fourth quarter typically is the most important quarter for a company's bottom line. I think that's why, in theory, gifting and Cyber Week both fall at the end of the year. But now it's just the the harsh reality of not having something that you need and want because you're trying to appeal to too many people. When you try to appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one. That is one of the statements I say all the time to my students, and you see public relations firms do this sin of communication all the time, where you have people that say, I don't want to offend everybody, so I'm just going to put out the most generic, bland, blah statement where I don't take a stance. And one of my favorite things about interacting and hearing from you all in the past 6 years on this channel is that one of the first phrases that is sent to me on a generally positive message is, Prof, I rarely agree with you, or I don't always agree with you, but I still appreciate the content you put out, even when I disagree. Because they know that I'm going to take a stance. And I'm not going to say you have to agree with my stance. There are going to be plenty of people who say that the gifting event is fine and doesn't need any kind of overhaul. And if you think that, have at it. But personally, I've just heard from too many people who are tired of getting the same crystals for Conqueror players as they are for Paragon or Valiant. And when you have something in this game right now, it's a really unique economy of the game right now, where you need tier 3 alpha and tier 6 basic, yes, but the item that you need more than anything is something that's really not in these crystals in easy supply at all. And that is, of course, not tier 3 alpha, but tier 4 alpha. And if you're not giving Paragon players tier 4 alpha to take their second 7-star to rank 3, then what's the point? They've gotten 6-star shards and 7-star shards and tier 3 alpha and tier 6 basic and even tier 6 class catalyst. They've gotten that all from other events. So the gifting event needs to be something that's so much better. And I get that sometimes rank rewards can be, but that requires a lot of crystals to open and spend. What I would have done if I was working for Kabam this year, and again, Lord help me if that was the case, is that with rank rewards for gifting, I would just make everything tier 4 alpha specific. And yes, you can have Paragon and Valiant have the same rewards. So if you're Valiant, you obviously already have a minimum of 2 rank 3 7-stars. A lot of people, that's it, like me. But some who've explored Necropolis have, I would imagine, 3 rank 3 7-stars. And yes, the rank rewards, especially for the top couple, are going to be insane and crazy and the best of the best, but that only applies to a couple of people in the entire community. And so for everybody else, if you gave like 25% of a tier 4 alpha, and then 50%, and then another 50%, and then 100% for each time that you climb the rank rewards for opening crystals, then that way you can make an argument that the crystals had nothing to do in terms of why you open them with the actual items in the crystals. It's all about getting the rank up materials for your rank 3 7-star, and all the items that you get from those crystals are a bonus, and those rank rewards would be tied to progression level, and in this case they'd be cut off at Paragon. And so that way you're giving the top 2 progression levels something exclusive and unique that's going to help them while still keeping the same crystal. I think that is the middle ground solution to this. But what's not a solution is just denying the state of gifting and saying, oh, it's fine, people are overreacting and being dramatic, like I've seen from Kabam Mike and others on the forums, when it's like you're missing the whole point. The system is outdated. It's dead. It needs an overhaul, and it's not because I'm trying to be Mr. Negative. It's because I'm hearing feedback and going, oh, that makes perfect sense why you're not going to spend as much this year. And if we want the game to last another 9 years, they need to evolve events and make them better. And they've done that with several events in Kabam's defense, but not with the gifting event in this case. So I don't want this video to be 10 minutes long. We're already at over 9 minutes, so I'm going to end it here. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.